Hey there, it's Sharon again from businessandwellness.com. We're continuing on with our financial literacy series, the series that's helping you discern and be comfortable with your choices around money, taking a look at where you're at right now, whether it's what you want, where you want to be. And I can tell you that I've been teaching this for a number of years. And as I said to finish the last video, there's no pressure about this. It's education, but I can honestly assure you that men and women and families leave this education feeling inspired and more armed for taking action of the right kind of action for them. So, the most important thing to really discern about when you're talking about your money is what your situation is. That's the starting point is. And the good news about that is that it's just a starting point. You can change your situation. And it is, again, as I said, important points are going to be repeated. It's about educating yourself and then skilling yourself up to make those changes. The other thing that's important to know is that you're just so not alone in this situation. That it's just such a rising area of challenge for people is financial instability. And I'm talking to people all the time, and I talked to somebody recently and she said to me, Sharon, I did all the right things. I paid into my retirement. I did everything they told me to, and she was just devastated to be retired and not have enough money to hardly even pay for rent and food, nothing. She said, this isn't what I expected at all. So, she obviously maybe hadn't done her homework, but she was a good citizen. She had done all the right things, dotted her I's and crossed her T's, and she found herself in a situation that she was really shocked and distressed about. And so that's, another important point, that this is sort of a cliche in a way, but the two most important things that keep people awake and, stress them enough to make them lose sleep are stresses about health and stresses about finances. You might add relationship and family in there for that too, wouldn't you? So one final point on this point, I wanted, talking about your personal situation is think about it. How, you may be looking good on the outside, but in deep trouble underneath the surface. So there are some skills, I think one of the best things that I learned from Robert and Kim Kiyosaki and their group of educators was that to take a look at your financial balance sheet. Robert Kiyosaki and Robert and Kim would both say that, the most important thing to evaluate your cash flow is whether you've got more coming in than going out. So financial freedom is when your income, and in particular they recommend passive income, so that's income that comes in 24/7, when that's larger than your outgoings, then you're in a position of financial freedom. And one last thing I wanted to say on this video was, also take a look at your life from the perspective of what your heart's desires are, what you're wanting to do with your life, what makes you excited. Like, when you're looking at your life, are you working 12-hour shifts and not having enough time to spend with your family? That's also a type of, not to be judgmental at all, but a personal poverty, isn't it? So you're living a life that's not 100% what your vision or your dreams are. Also, the other things to evaluate is obviously, as the example I just give, is your retirement prepared for? And in the coming videos, I'll give you a little chart to work that out and see what kind of cash flow you need to be living abundantly, or even with enough to make ends meet at retirement. You also want to take a look, and just an honest look to yourself at what your good debt versus bad debt ratio is. So bad debt is obviously for things that aren't necessities, and good debt is debts that you're investing, say, in a property. You're investing in an investment that's going to feed you and bring you money in the future. And I guess, I'll leave you with, are you doing what you love? Another of the emotional and the personal side of wealth. Are you living a wealthy life? One where your heart sings about what you're doing. You feel good about what you do every day. One of the most tragic things in the Western world now is that so many people are surviving in a job, but they aren't happy. They're not loving. They're not feeling aligned with what they're doing with the company or their profession or their career. So, I know this is giving you a lot to think about. If this is on track for you, we've got some answers coming up in the upcoming series. So connect with me. My personal newsletter list, you can connect there at businessandwellness.com. We're the home business professionals, and we're looking forward to offering you lots of great information. Thanks for being here.